You're on.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know that wherever you are joining us from, that it is one of those times, and we are just so excited to be here with you. So, I'm going to do the technical stuff. You know what to do. You're familiar, I know, with pushing those buttons. So, push the like button if you like us and leave a comment in the chat box. And that's it. That's my technical announcement. So I just want to start with a little bit of gratitude.
Who are we?
And first of all, let you know that I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil. I was wondering if she was going to let us say hello. How are y'all?
Okay, and so I want to start with gratitude. I was busy thinking about just how grateful I am that we're here. That's it. That we are finally here. This show has been a long time in the making, and I'm so grateful for everyone who's hung in there with us and is holding that space for us and knows how exciting that this is. So we're going to tell you a little bit about us and our show. Hit it, Gil.
So, everybody, my name is Gil Olmstead, and this is my lovely. Wait, where is she? She's over here. My lovely bride, Robyn Rice Olmstead, and we have come together to play with you around relationship, around how life works, and to just talk about the beauty of what happens. Our real job here is to just inspire and empower everyone to be in relationship with themselves and others. That's what the show's about.
Yes. So let's start with a little bit about our intentions and what's going to be coming up on our show and just talking about that.
Okay. Okay. Well, what I was thinking about was the fact that why we're doing it, why we got to doing this particular show. Should I talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. So, you know, interestingly enough, we are always surprised by this, but people come to us in the most interesting situations and they will go, "We want to talk to you." And we'll go, "Okay." And they'll go, "Well, we need some help. Well, we really want to talk to you about your relationship because we think you could help us with our relationship." And we think to ourselves, "Really? You think we could?" But hey, maybe we can. And what we realized is we've got something, and mostly it's a result of a whole lot of well, Robyn mentioned the word intention, our intention to be in relationship and our intention to hold it together. um, and it's not so much about some magical thing, it's just about our intention to be here and to be in relationship with one another, right?
Yes. And so I want to say hello to everyone out there. I see that Fiona is here from Switzerland and Wayne and Reverend Carol, some of our
Carolyn.
favorite people. So it's so great to have you out there with us. So I thought we'd start since you don't really know us. Well, some of you do, but you don't really know us with in our a little bit about each other. So let's. I want to ask Gil some questions that maybe will give you a little more insight into who he is. So, Gil,
Uh-oh.
when when did you first know that this was your calling to be a minister, to step into ministry, to be with people, whatever it is that you consider your calling?
When did I first know? Wow, that's a good question. And really, it's been there all my life at some level. It's been there my whole life. I've been looking at how I felt this call to serve people. I remember in high school one time, I don't know if he told you the story, but a good friend of mine was having a particularly hard time. And I was scheduled to be in class for a test, and I opted to go sit with her and skip class because she needed someone. And that's what I did. and I knew it wasn't going to be be good for class, and I was going to have to tell them, "Hey, I made this choice. I know this is the deal." But that's sort of that place where I've always felt that there were some things that were just, it's just more important. That connection is more important than all the other stuff. And that's kind of how I've gotten into this and into our relationship and into this relationship with the people around us and to this understanding of spirit.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It actually reminds me that because you were saying that, I was thinking about our relationship to everything. Like in that moment, that your relationship to your friend was more important than your relationship to your grades or to your parents or to what was going to happen when you got home or, any of those things. And it reminded me actually of a time in high school where a friend of mine was going to get an F, and he was going to get in really big trouble in our English class. And I was getting an A, and we were standing with our teacher for an evaluation. And I said, well, can't I just give him my A? And she said, sure, if you want to take his F and you'll have to work it up. And I did.
Wow. Wow.
I did. I took it. I don't know what possessed me in that moment, which is funny in itself to think that I don't know, because it's all spirit happening in, as, and through you, right? But yeah, like our relationship and it's interesting. I mean, it wasn't even a cute boy, well, it was a cute boy, but it wasn't a cute boy that I was interested in. And so I don't really know. It was just such a moment of compassion.
Mm.
Do any of you have anything out there that you've had that thing where you actually surprise yourself like that, right? Oh, see,
Carolyn.
Someone out there knows me. Carolyn Douglas is saying that that's me. Oh, thank you.
Well, that's who I've known you to be.
Okay. Okay.
Want to talk more about you? I know how much
No,
you like
but
it.
you know what I'm saying. So, yeah. And so my recollection of us deciding to do this show was, I said, we need to do a show, and you said, okay. So I'm going to ask you, what made you say yes?
Mm. Okay, so what immediately struck me was another time in our lives when I said yes. When you opened up your phone and showed me a picture of a particular dog who turned into our lovely pet Dodger, whom we had for many years. And you said, he needs a home. What do you think? And I said, I think we should go get him. And you like fell out of your chair. I think sometimes, and this is not my norm, but sometimes I am just super clear and I know what needs to happen, even if I don't know how or why or what it means. And for instance, Dodger became really, really, truly one of the most beloved animals to us and to anyone that ever met him. And so there's a sense in me when you asked about the show that it's time for us to step out and be present with people and to offer them something, not so much of what we have, but to offer our presence, to share in the conversation and to create something together.
Yeah. And Fiona says connection is primordial or fundamental. And that's really what this is all about, right? This is about connection. And we're connected to everything. That is one of the things that this new thought science of mind, wherever angle you're coming in from, unity, we're learning more and more about really our connection to the one and our connection to the source, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what about you? Why'd you ask me the question? What was it that made you think we needed to do this show?
Because I'm married to you and I thought you should have first dibs.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I think you touched on it. I think because people come to us and they say, I want what you've got. And I'm thinking, I've got bills to pay and, things to do. And I don't always see us. I mean, I don't always take the time in the moment to see us in that space of like, wow, look what we've got. 20 years of whatever it is, clearly some level we like it. It feels good and we're happy about it. So I think it's, I think, I was thinking about it when you were saying what we wanted listeners to get from the show or to take away. And I was thinking, you're such a big liar, because that's what we're going to take away. We're going to get that from you. And it's that to get that repartee and that connection that you teach us in all that you do, as well as us. So I think that doing this show with you is really a deepening of our relationship and a learning, a learning and being able to voice or know on a different level what we've got.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's okay. So transparency, and whenever we do workshops, we often stop and tell people that we're very transparent, and if in the moment we need to work something out, we're going to do that. We're not going to just plow through because it was on the paper. We're going to take a moment, have a conversation, figure it out, and then we'll move ahead with y'all. So being transparent, I think we have getting to this point of today has been a process of us working through this relationship in new ways. Would you not agree?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We've hit a few tough spots.
Well, it's just we're not always in sync, as even though we have the same end goal, we're not always in sync as to how to do it or at what are pertinent work hours. I tend to be one that can work pretty much 20 hours of the day, and usually my best hours are when we've gotten into bed and I go, okay, so when we do, and I start to plan, and he's like, wow, I'm going to bed. turn it off, lady. And I'm like, wait, but this is, if I don't say it now, I won't remember. And he's like, oh my God. So yeah, it's not always perfect, or I shouldn't say perfect. It is perfect. It's not always easy, or, doesn't simultaneously work together. So yeah, we've learned a lot.
And I'm thinking that anyone out there in any relationship, no matter who it's with, you've run into this. You've run into this process with a significant other, with your job, with someone you work with, where you may be on the same page at some level, but there's times when you're just not. You're not there in the moment, and you got to figure out how to work through that and get there. And so that's part of what this show is about: is how do we be together? How do we work together without making the other person wrong?
Yes, and if you all could teach him that, I will be so grateful. But I just want you to know that Reverend Carolyn out there sees you as well, Gil. She says, I've known you to bring your innate caring to the present moment and move through experience which blesses.
Thank you, Rev Carolyn. That was very sweet.
And she sees us. She knows who we really are. Thank God. And I just want to give a little shout out, because she is one of our fantastic speakers that will be speaking at the New Thought Media. I'm foreseeing the New Thought Media conference. And clearly you're invited, Reverend Carolyn, at the upcoming Help me out here.
Vista
Vista conference in Palm Springs in a couple of weeks. So,
wow, fun.
So yeah.
So speaking of people that know us and support us, I know you kind of started on the thank you route, but can I say a couple now?
Yes.
You think so? Okay. Well, first of all, I would just like to thank Rev Robert, who has so graciously supported us in this process and of getting onto this network, of sharing the show, of being a part of it, of all of that, and more than that, it's a feeling of real connection, and we appreciate that a lot. In fact, there have been a couple times when we thought, okay, if we tell him again that we're not starting the show, he's not going to like us. But he didn't worry about it. He just knew we were going to do it. It was going to happen, and there you go. So we did it. And somebody else I really want to thank is our assistant, Jessica, who lives in another part of the country from us, and who, well, what's she do? She kicks us in the butt. Is that what she does?
I just want you to know you stole my gratitude for the end for both of those people. Yes, I'm not helping you out. Yeah, she keeps us in line. She definitely keeps us in line.
Yeah.
Is there more?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. We can say thank you again later. That's fine. I just wanted to mention it. There's so many. Okay, Carolyn Douglas has corrected us. The CSL convention, which I think is also may have been called Vista, or was at one time. Okay, so, well, are we ready to move into something new? Well, I think before we do that, perhaps we should take a little break and get ready for the next section. So we are grateful to all of you, and we hope you'll take this moment to just pay attention to some of the announcements and information that comes forth on your screen. Thanks so much.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're so glad to be here. I'm Gil.
And I'm Robyn.
And just so you know, this is our very first show, Rockin' the Love. We have not done this before, and we've certainly not done this show on here before. So this is very exciting. And I wanted to mention that it is also somewhat of an experiment because we're not clear on all the technology yet. So you might have noticed that we have a lovely green background for Robyn. Well, that's special. That's extra special. And hopefully in the future, it will be a little bit more interesting. So we're working on how to get all those little details figured out, but that's okay. We're moving forward.
And right now, just know that green is our symbol of abundance for the day. So it's just calling in that abundance consciousness. See, we can work with anything, you know?
It's all good.
It's all God.
It's all good. So earlier in the last segment, we were talking about connection. Connection seemed to be a very positive thing. I wanted to just talk for a minute about an article that I found. And it says something really interesting. Now, all of us have heard and all of us know that, you know, it's a joy to give, to offer things to other people. And we know that it's a joy to have people to support us and really hold us up, like we just mentioned in the ahead of this break, that it's great to have people supporting us and doing that. But this article says that they've done a study, and it actually is better for your health. It actually improves health if you are supportive of your family and your significant others. What do you think of that?
Makes sense to me.
So not only getting it from the other people, but that we get it by giving it.
It's reciprocal.
It's reciprocal. We get by giving.
And that is truly, I think that's what New Thought is all about in some ways. I mean, it's really about the one, and the one is really the love. And, you know, when we hear people talk about the, we mirror each other. If I'm, well, you know that when you're in a grumpy mood, notice I didn't say I.
Thank you.
Speak from the I is really good, except when you're talking about relationship with your husband. No, I'm just kidding.
Now wait a second. Was that why I got the grumpy socks for Christmas? Okay, I'm just checking.
But when your partner or your kids or somebody you're close to or your friends are in a certain mood, I take it on. I can take it on without even wanting to, just because I'm feeling it, So I think it makes sense, right? That it could work for our good. And I see that we have Carolyn says reciprocal law of attraction, yes. And Bonnie Gonzalez has joined us from
Yay, Bonnie.
From Mexico. And I know that Bonnie Gonzalez, who is a grief expert, talks a lot about that in that our emotions and all of that, is infectious. So,
and who of us has not had the experience of being in a place that was difficult and finding that the opportunity to focus that energy that we've been experiencing around whatever's going on, for instance, if it's grief or something else, into supporting someone else actually helps us move through it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. And I was thinking that a lot of that also is about us learning how to do our own work, right? Our own work of being able to either, I don't know if disassociate is the right word, but being able to not take on what isn't ours.
Mm.
A lot of us that are empathic, especially, take on a lot of things that go on not only in our lives but in the world, and like really being able to differentiate what's mine to do.
Well, yes, but what's mine to do? I I guess I'm just in that place of it's so much about, it's not so much for me about what's mine to do, but what I could do.
Yeah, and I don't know that I really meant to do. I think that just slipped out. I really meant what's mine. Like if I'm feeling
Ah,
your grumpiness, is it, am I grumpy? Am I upset? Am I upset about something? Maybe, but not always. Sometimes it's just because you are, or I'll tell you, a lot of times, having kids, I'll take on their emotions. So, and they are highly emotional, these teenagers we have, because everything, if you remember, or if you have kids, everything is really about life and death. It's very black and white. There's no in between. If they don't get to do it right here, right now, it'll never happen and their life will be over. And sometimes when I'm responding to that, I dig in just as hard with, no, you're not going to do it right now because I'm going to teach you that it won't end. You'll be able to have life after no Nintendo or whatever it is. And then I realize, wait, breathe, and just, can I center and not get caught up in that and be in a place of compassion, of understanding. And again, this is kind of why we started the show, because it's like all roads lead back to love. Can we rock the love in that moment? Mm-hmm. Can we find an inkling of love even in, just looking at our children and remembering that we love them?
So
yeah,
I was going to say that reminded me, when I was in high school and college, I used to attend an event each year called Young People's Convention. And we would have quite a few people there, high school, early college. And one year I was a major part of the planning, and we had like 1,000 people there. And one of the deals was you had all these small groups and you assigned all these people to these small groups, and we did it sort of by age. And somebody was like, well, why are we doing that? And then it was like, the joke was that, in the 14-year-old, 15-year-old groups, the big issues were things like whether or not the nail color was right, or what was really, and those were really life and death issues, because that was important. And we have to remember that everybody comes to a situation with their own investment in whatever it is.
Yeah.
And some of that is based on our age and experience, and some of that is based on our spiritual age and experience, and some of that's based on, who knows what, but it's always an opportunity to be compassionate and to understand that just because somebody else's seemingly unimportant thing is rearing its head does not mean it's unimportant.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, I do with you all the time. I have to keep that in mind.
So what else? I am thinking about, a saying that comes from Nature Boy by Nat King Cole. It says, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Which kind of speaks to what you were saying. That reciprocal law of attraction, like Reverend Carolyn said. And it's like, and so if we, part of, I know in our relationship, part of the thing is really remembering that that we love each other. We're not trying to annoy each other. We're not trying to, create anything that doesn't work. We're trying to support each other in growing because we see the potential. We know that the greatest yet to be is possible and out there. And so the challenge is to get all of us aligned at the same time so that one of us isn't kicking and screaming at the time we're moving that way.
Is that why you tell me you're on my team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's often a reminder that I need, is that I am that you're really on my team and we're really in this together, because I can create a barrier which puts you outside of that sometimes.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing in the relationships. So when we talk about relationships, and especially personal relationships, there's always, the different opportunities for growth like that. Because who doesn't have some baggage or a former relationship that has not been executed in the way that one might think it should have been? Or
We should never talk about execution with former relationships. I'm just saying.
But that's what our second show next week is about, is who's at the party. Because how many people and voices do we bring into a relationship? There's times when Gil and I have been having a fight or something, and he starts yelling at me about something. I'm like, who are you talking to? I did not do any of those things. And when he's able to, settle in and calm down, whatever, we realize that it's really something that happened in his previous relationship, or, somewhere he doesn't feel,
I don't feel loved or taken care of somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sufficient, not enough.
And often that's either from someone else or from my own beings I've created within me, my own voices that I've created.
Yeah. So, when we had we did a lot of weddings, and we would do some counseling before that, and really just try to, get clear on who are you taking into the relationship, and are they invited? Are you sure you want them there? Because you don't want your mother-in-law or your mother or your father all the time. You want to be able to really, come to your relationships clean. And that's, I feel like if you go back to love as the barometer, it kind of helps to clear the slate. What do you think?
I think so. And everyone is concerned about the guest list for the wedding, but we forget about the guest list for the marriage. And that's pretty important. Pretty darn important.
Yeah. So I think we should take a commercial break.
Okay.
And stay around, find out some stuff that's going on New Thought Media while we get a go drink of water, and we will be right back.
New Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.
Hey, everybody. We
We're
hope
back.
you're ready for this section because we're not sure we are. Woohoo!
I am.
Okay.
And so I just want to start us off with a quote because I happen to look down at a paper I have here that seems to speak to what we were all just talking about. It says the success of marriage comes not in finding the right person, but in the ability of both partners to adjust to the real person they inevitably realize they married.
Okay. Do you want to
Mm.
say that again in English?
Yeah.
Or
So the success of a marriage or relationship or partnership, or I would say just, any long-term friendship type things, comes not in finding the right person, but in the ability of both partners to adjust to the real person they inevitably realize they married.
and I would add that they inevitably realize they are. Right? I mean, ultimately, in my experience at least, most of my issues with that other person is the issues I'm having with myself. Right?
Yes, I don't realize that for myself.
Why not? You should. Why are you not realizing
I'm
these things?
just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, yeah. I think that's right. I mean, well, of course, it has to be a both and because, in theory, there's only one of us here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole exploration is about, is getting beyond the veneer of relationship and moving to what's really under relationship, which is us, which is our relationship to ourselves and to our money and to our physical bodies and to our whatever, if you and your car don't get along, it might behoove you to look at yourself. What are you how are you interacting? How are you treating it? Have you taken time to learn it? Have you?
Well, I would say even deeper than that. Where are you breaking down, and are you taking care of yourself? Are you giving yourself a tune-up kind of thing? We're metaphysicians. We just make this stuff up, but it sounds right, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we know it's true. I mean, it's not just made up because really, if you can go back years and years and years, and who have been the great teachers? The ones that knew themselves, the ones that looked inward, the ones that asked the questions. And so I really think that's, we can talk about it and kind of joke about the fact that, we make it up.
Yeah. Well, Reverend Carolyn says, I love my relationship with my car. It takes care of me.
That's right. That's right.
It's true. I mean, we name all our cars. We have a great relationship with our car. and I think that's the people really want to feel better about themselves, and they want to find the relationship and all of those things. And I think that people think the answer is out there when we all know the answers are in here, right inside, in the heart.
So I want to highlight. Bonnie says, "Don't we all change and grow in a relationship? Therefore, for me, the idea is to continue to respect and accept those changes." Yes, we do change and grow, I would say. And I would have to argue at some level. I'm not arguing with you, Bonnie. I'm just playing. But I have to say, part of that change is to become more of who we are. It's not so much for me the sense that we are changing, but that we are becoming and allowing to come forth more of who we are. And so in that process, we appear different to those who we are in relationship with, and we all have to adjust to that. You know, if I no longer can get Robyn to yell at me when I say something, then, you know, I have to figure out how to communicate in a new way. Now that was a crazy example because that never happens in our house. But
I'm not a yeller.
no, she's not. That's really true. She's not.
Well, not usually anyway. I have been known on occasions, but yeah, I think, I mean, I was saying to Gil when we began working on this show that we're really, I was designing the t-shirt that we were relationshipologists.
Mm.
And I think we're all relationshipologists because we're just trying to find our ways and find what works. And what works with some doesn't work with others. And you don't always know that it's going to work again. So it's a continual journey on that. Right?
It's a continual journey. All of it's a continual journey. And the joy is in having fun with it and not making it too serious. You know, allowing ourselves to look at some way we've interacted with our world and go, well, that wasn't so smart, but not stay there, just acknowledge it and then move forward. And how do we do it differently next time around?
Well, and Carolyn said in the chat, referring to the car, I'm assuming great maintenance, but maybe not maybe it's referring to the relationship, because I think that's key, right? It's key to all of our relationships.
That's true. If we don't take care of it, if we don't, whatever it is, we don't take care of it, it can fall apart. And I mean, I don't know if any of you have had the experience of being in a job situation or something where you kind of got to the point where you were just showing up and, you know, somewhere in there, surprisingly, somebody came and told you weren't doing a very good job or that they didn't need you anymore. And it's the same thing. It's just, are we really putting into it what we want to get out of it? And that's maintenance. That's maintenance.
It is. It is. And I think all relationships require, you know, falling in love with the person, the situation, whatever it is, over and over and over, right? I mean, we don't always like our friends or our partners or our children, but we always love them. And so we have to go back to that place of breathing and falling in love again.
So this brings me to who's familiar with Robert Fulghum? Anybody out there remember everything I ever learned? I learned in kindergarten. So this is a quote from him. He says, "The grass is not, in fact, always greener on the other side of the fence. It is greenest where it is watered."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what we were just talking about. You know, the illusion is that somehow we can find somewhere where everything is perfect. And in reality, we have to tend to the garden. We have to maintain the car. We have to take care of the relationship. And that's what's going to make the difference.
Yes. Yes. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be going into depth. We're going to be having guests. We're going to be doing all kinds of exploration. And clearly, we're going to have Reverend Carolyn on at some point because she's just vying for that guest spot out there. And
And we
but
love playing with her. And I think, I see a lot of people we like playing with on here.
I see a lot of people. I see a lot of guest potential in our audience, especially anyone who's watching out there that sees that Laura Topper has joined us from the show Cosmic Prayer, and a few others. And she is a fabulous presenter and practitioner, soon to be minister, and just doing all kinds of things to change the world. So make sure you tune into her show Mondays, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, something like that. Really close. She'll put it in the chat maybe.
Because I think it's 9 o'clock Pacific, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 o'clock Mountain.
So I think that that's what I got.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to say, let's invite everyone to just think about how you're tending to your relationships, whatever they are. How are you taking care of them? And just notice it. Just notice it this week.
Yeah, I think that's the love work for the week.
Yeah.
Is just to really, really, witness yourself and take a breath and see if you can adjust the dial, to go more towards love in any of those situations that come up as struggle or confusion or, any of that. And just watch where that takes you. Right?
Yep. And as you're doing that, Robyn has some more love and gratitude that she wants to share.
I do. Gil hit the nail on the head with our fabulous assistant that is highly underpaid because what she does is invaluable, and we just love and appreciate her so much. And without her, this really wouldn't have been possible. At least not until summer
of 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have put it out again, but and our fabulous producer for the day, who is so not only that, he is a visionary and an amazing presence and holds an incredible vision for this network and all of the presenters and just the possibility and the power of these teachings, of this new thought teaching and science of mind and all the new thought, ancient wisdom, just knowing truly that he is anchoring that on the planet in just new ways. And if any of that speaks to you, we'd love to have you find out more about the network. You can go to newthoughtmedia.org
and NT Media.
ntmedia.org. He's going to put up a banner because
fine.
I know that there's one there quickly that he will put up.
By the way, who is he? Because you've said a whole lot about somebody I don't know yet.
I'm keeping him secret. I don't want anyone else to know about him.
Okay. All right. Keep it to yourself. Okay.
He is Rev Robert Brzezinski. Rev Brez. And yeah. And so, but please visit the website, find out more about other shows that are on. I was also going to give a shout out to our friend and colleague Laura Topper, who has supported us in making this all possible. And as I said, is doing fabulous work all over the place. You can check out her show. And if any of this speaks to you, please feel free to go to that website. And there is a donate button.
Donut button.
Stop ruining my pitch. All right. There is a donate button. And we would appreciate any donations that you give to the station, because the work is really, it's going out into the world. And as you saw, there are people on here in Mexico and Switzerland and all over the United States.
Redwood City.
It's just bringing us closer together. So please support the vision. And if you like what you heard today, again, push those like buttons. Check all our social media out. You can find us at rockinthelove.com. Rockin with no G. And I have to thank our hair department, our Rubio department here that came down to tell us, got to cover the green screen, got to do this. We have technical hair and makeup and all kinds of things going on here. And so I just want to thank my sister Courtney Ann, Ruby, and did I forget anyone?
Oh, if you did, we'll thank them next time.
I want to thank you. I'm going to thank you. No, really, I'm going to thank you for showing up in the way that you have and you did. And really, Gil is not a person who gets nervous. You know, he's got that minister vibe that y'all ministers have, that you kind of don't show that side, and you just, you know, get up there and know that Spirit's going to come through you. And so I knew this morning when he said he was nervous that this was the right place to be. So I'm excited to be pushing the boundaries with him and with all of you. And I just know that we're going to have a great time. So join us next week for Who's at the Party.
Who's at the party?
Have a great week and keep on rocking the love.
Rock on, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and we're looking forward to next time.
Peace.
Is that our sign off?
We're done.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajay, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.